Welcome back to the Heater Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Heater, your one-stop shop for all your fantasy football needs. And today we are going to be tackling the international game in Dublin. It's a showdown slate between the Minnesota Vikings and apparently the home team, Pittsburgh Steelers. It's an over-under of 40.5, so it's potentially going to be a low-scoring game, which sometimes these international games tend to be. After travel and everything, we're not sure, and in an unknown environment, what to expect. But honestly, these games are a crapshoot. You could get anything and everything, but I do think that this game is going to be a defensive battle. But before I get ahead of myself, this tool that I'm using is a lineup builder tool for all the different slates. If you go check out my last video, I just did one on the main slate. I don't know why it's taking so long. There you go. So it works for the main slate. This week we've got the Thursday night game, these international games early Sunday morning. We got the Sunday night football, and then another 2-game doubleheader Monday night football matchup. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about this international game. You can find this slate if you are interested in getting this yourself on my Patreon. You can buy the whole season pass for $15, or you can check out just a week's for $5. You'll get a promo code, so if you like it, you'll be able to apply that $5 directly to the season pass and just pay for the remaining $10. Or you can find it on my Etsy. Exact same thing, just a different site. So anyway, getting back to this showdown slate, I do think even though this is going to be a defensive battle, I always love these international games. You never know what to expect, and it could always get a little interesting. You could have some special teams highlights or just sloppy football play, since it's which leads to more scoring. So this particular slate, we're going to kind of break it down. I think there are a few key top captain options that you can go with, and then some flex players. But the way that Showdown differs from the classic main slate is it's a lot more story-based in my mind. I worry less about what projects the highest as to what kind of storyline am I projecting to happen. So for me, when I look at this game, I do think the Vikings win. I think the Vikings will control the game. I think that Brian Flores, their defensive coordinator, has given Aaron Rodgers fits in the past. I think their defense will be will play a high role in this game, and will keep him on his toes. Do I think Aaron Rodgers could win this game? Absolutely. But I do think that Carson Wentz is good enough to get them the win that they need. And they will control the game on the ground through Jordan Mason. So, when I think about that, players that I'm okay with fading would be Justin Jefferson. Is he able to break a slate any week? Absolutely. But if you're looking for some leverage, he's also 20.4% captain percentage right now. I would possibly get off of him and play maybe someone like Jordan Addison, who's going to be back for the first time this week at that captain spot. But more likely than not, I like Jordan Mason as my top captain selection. So this one's going to be a little shorter episode. I'm just going to kind of walk through how this tool works and why I think these players are valued what they are. So Jordan Mason, he's got a good value this week. Not as good a value in the captain as in the flex, but still a good value. What am I looking at? Where is he in the flex? Why is he not even showing up? That's weird. Hold on. Let's look over here. Jordan, where are you? So, I guess now that I'm looking at it, that's not a good argument for value. But once again, Showdown, it's how is the game going to be played? He just had a huge game last week. I guess call this a gut feeling. Okay, so I'm gonna put Jordan Mason in there as a captain to start. Now you'll see with this tool, it's a yellow box right now. So this is the roster percentage. I tried to aim for my roster percentage to be anywhere from, for a showdown slate like this, it's a little bit higher, but I would say like anywhere from like 100 to 125%, I feel like is a good solid lineup. If the roster percentage is a little bit more condensed, it might get a little higher than that, but that's just kind of a guideline I work with. And then I also try to leave money on the table. So if we have Jordan Mason as the captain, I'm definitely putting the Vikings defense in as well. And I'm thinking of more of a 4-2 build this week, meaning 4 Vikings players, since I have the Vikings captain, and 2 Steelers players. So I do think it's definitely worth getting Aaron Rodgers in there, just because he will control most of the offense. And then let's say maybe someone like Jaylen Warren, just to start with. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I think I want to go with Chris Boswell, because I think they are going to take the points when they can, and I think he could play a big factor definitely in a international game. So I have 1 defense, I have 1 kicker in this lineup, I have 1 quarterback, and how much more do we have? We've got roughly 13,600 left to play. So players that are still in the mix here. Let's sort this by salary here. So everybody's really cheap. So we could definitely throw Carson Wentz in there easy. I do think it's worth throwing a wide receiver in here. So I'm going to go with Addison. And what does that give us? That gives us 6,600 to work with. Sorry, I haven't looked at this slate yet, so I am building with you for the very first time. So I might look at this and say, this is awful. We're not running with this. But I figured it'd be fun to kind of use the tool and showcase this together. So I do not like the way this is lining up. So let's start over here. So let's get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Let's throw in someone like Jaylen Warren. We'll say that with this storyline, we're saying Aaron Rodgers has had a bad game. He's gotten sacked a number of times. They're not doing anything through the air. It's a bunch of dump-off passes to Jaylen Warren, maybe some ground game. But the Vikings defense is doing well. They can't score in the red zone, so Chris Boswell's gotten most of their points. And then with 8,000 left, who can we throw in there? Okay, so we could... This is an interesting one. So, players that I'm interested in. All right, maybe we switch it up one more time here. So, get off with Jordan Addison. We'll go Justin Jefferson. And then we'll go down to someone much lower and save some money. I mean, you could throw Adam Thielen in there if you wanted to. Or Hawkinson, maybe. Okay. Not to change it up one more time, but I like this. Let's go TJ Hawkinson. Oh, this is an interesting lineup, too, because I don't have a single quarterback in here. Maybe that's a mistake. So, Carson Wentz. At 6K left. Then we throw in TJ Hawkinson. How's that sound? I mean, that's a weird lineup. I don't know that I like it, but it's a start. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so 172. Oh, when I was saying 125, I was still thinking classic. Anything under 185, so like 125 to 185 is kind of where I fall in my roster percentage for this. I just need to actually update this tool because that says it's red, but that's thinking it's a classic site. So that at 172% roster percentage, I think that's totally fine. All right, so let's try a different build because I do think I'm going to be building more Vikings versus Steelers. But what if we did something interesting here where we said... Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. So if we got really off the wall, we did Chris Boswell as the captain here. Just because we know it's an international slate and it's weird. So we do Chris Boswell. We stick with Jaylen Warren as the other Steeler. And we do a 2-4 build here. Okay, so then I'm going to have Carson Wentz, Jordan Addison. Actually, because we're able to save some money, I'm going to say Justin Jefferson, Jordan Mason. What does that leave us? 3,600. Oh, I definitely think I want the Vikings defense, though, so I might need to switch off. Okay, so then we switch off of Justin Jefferson. We go Jordan Addison. How's this look? Yeah, I don't mind that. Obviously, like we said, projection-wise, it's not projecting very well because you're not going to have that, 25, 26 points at the top. But this is assuming the game is a slog fest, not much scoring, not much going on. That's an interesting lineup. Let's say the game does shoot out, okay? I would put Jordan Addison at the top just to mix it up. I would put both quarterbacks in there if you're saying it's a shootout. And maybe give him... I think I would still go Jaylen Warren. I really think this is a great Jaylen Warren week. This is all assuming he's playing, but I think he plays. He's able to get a limited practice in, and they need him, and they do not trust Caleb Johnson yet. And they get a bye right after this. So my thinking is he plays. That's what I'm thinking. Let's do... So it's a shootout, so maybe not one of the defenses, but we're definitely going to do the Vikings kicker. And then with 7,500 left, you could get another receiver, whether that is... You could do Adam Thielen if you really wanted to. Let's see here. We could do... I was looking at the wrong one. You could do Adam Thielen. You could do T.J. Hawkinson. I mean, that's a really off-the-wall one. How much does a Justin Jefferson captain cost? So, definitely expensive. Well, what if you did this? What if you went T.J. Hawkinson and then Justin Jefferson? I still don't think this fits. Yeah, no, that doesn't fit. Okay. Jordan Addison. Who else could we throw in there? Well, like I said, don't be afraid to leave some salary on the table. You could switch out Jaylen Warren. Oop, I'm on the wrong one. Switch out Jaylen Warren. Put in DK Metcalf. If I can spell. And then putting in TJ Hawkinson maybe makes a little more sense. Yeah, I don't mind that. Let's try to build a Justin Jefferson one, though. Justin Jefferson, Carson Wentz. I kind of feel like Jordan Mason is locked in. You don't have to lock him in. Obviously, you could fade him. Definitely, if you wanted to get leverage off of this 55%. But I think that's fair. I think that 55% is because of the way he's been playing and the way and his usage. So, what if we did just like a complete onslaught here? So, we did Vikings. We did Will, Reichard, And then we just brought it back at 3,800. You do like a Jonnu Smith lineup. I don't know. I don't like any of these lower end people this week. Jonnu Smith is probably the lowest I'm willing to go. Kenneth Gainwell, that could be interesting. If you were thinking that, Jaylen Warren's been hurt all week. Maybe he gets banged up in the game. They take him out. So that doesn't fit. But then we could get off of... Get off of him. What is... Oh, Boswell's even more expensive. That's not going to work. Maybe do a 4-2 build as well, and you throw in Jonnu Smith. Actually, projects pretty well. I don't mind that. It's because Justin Jefferson is at the top. That makes sense. One person I'm not really looking to build with is either one of the quarterbacks in the captain spot. I just don't think they're going to be high ceiling plays. So my top captains would be Justin Jefferson, Jordan Mason, Jordan Addison, I guess, would be my top ones. If you wanted to get off the wall and do something weird with the kickers or something, this is probably the game to do it. So maybe we build one more and then we get off here. So Will Reichard, Vikings defense, Jaylen Warren as a bringback. I'm going to throw in Jordan Mason, Carson Wentz, and Jordan Addison. This would be a 5-1 build, which if you're putting a kicker at the top, you're thinking it's a low scoring game. So that's not a bad option. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a couple ideas. I wouldn't necessarily use these lineups. I'm just kind of brainstorming here, trying to write some different scripts and some different ideas of how I think the game script's going to go. But I hope that's helpful to you. And yeah, good luck. This is going to be a fun one to watch. I usually like to watch this game and kind of prep for my other slates at the same time. And yeah, playing in Dublin, I think this year's is going to be a fun game. So good luck this week, and we'll see you later.